Ghana is a beautiful country. There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't touched, haven't felt, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again with new eyes. Let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Let's make that count. Let's show love for each other and our environment. Let's tell our stories, and let's watch and listen to our stories. There will be so much to tell. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, make Ghana great. And we will invite the world to come and experience Ghana too. But for now, stay home. Brought to you by the National Film Authority. Supports the Stay Home and Discover Ghana Later campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Right, so you welcome back from the break. I've told you earlier on that we are going to have a look at the minister's press briefing yesterday. Obviously, not that alone, but all of the issues in the power and energy sector. But let's have a bite of the minister speaking to the press yesterday.
The second thing that we did was to look at all the PPAs that have been signed on take-or-pay basis. And some had already been deployed, car power ships, Senate, Mary, some had been deployed. But the government decided that we had enough generating sets. And so there was no need to deploy more generating sets at that time. So we deferred 3 notable generating sets. We deferred Rotan Energy. We deferred 3 different types. And it saved Ghana, those 3 generating sets that we deferred, saved Ghana as much as $1.24 billion, cost us $475.5 million if they are deployed. So just by deferring deployment, we saved an excess of nearly $1.5 billion. That is about money good enough to have built 62 stadia of the type of Tamale Sports Stadium. Tamale Sports Stadium cost about $23 billion. And the savings by deferment, not cancellation, saved the country a payment of $1.425 billion. So some of those initial decisions started paying off, and it has paid off to now. The power outages that Ghanaians have suffered, though not pleasant, is in good faith in the sense that you do SCC, you do near YD. The problem is being fixed, and with patience and support, this government will truly deliver the works. Like I said, the KWASI bulk supply point will come on, the Kasua, the Kumasi 330, Kumasi Kintampo, the Achimota Malam ongoing. Probably by the end of the year, people will see a dramatically improved power system reliability in the country. These problems are not, and I repeat, are not due to financial challenges, because they are being fixed. They are being fixed, and there's a need. We plead with the people of Ghana to be supportive and expectant of their government and His Excellency the President to deliver on their behalf. That is not to say, even if we finish these big interventions, that is the end of the deal. We, last week and 3 weeks ago, last 2 weeks and about 3 weeks ago, together with the ECG MD and the Greco MD, who were in Ministry of Finance, to ensure that the critical interventions yet more needed to be done to make the system even more better will get fully funded. GRICO came up with 3 critical problems, all to do, I must say, with either improving bulk supply point or stringing 330 kilowatt kV lines. Their first item that they proved to be very, very critical was to increase their capital expenditure or find money to the tune of about 300 to enable us to have better power transmission and distribution system.
You're welcome back. So that was the Minister of Energy, Honorable Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, briefing the press and the whole of the country yesterday. And of course, he says it is not a financial problem, same they said before. I currently have in the studio an honorable member of parliament who is also a ranking member of the Energy and Mines Committee of Parliament, Honorable Edward Bawa. Thank you very much for joining us and very good evening to you.
Very good evening to you too.
I hope you're doing very well.
I think because of our distance, I can remove my.
Oh yes, you're allowed.
So that
yes.
Because I saw that Duncan has removed his. So
we have intentionally positioned the studio in a way you can have a very good social distancing.
Yes, that's fine. You go to heaven.
And then Duncan Amwa is the executive director of KUPEC, and he's a very own man. Thank you very much for joining us, Duncan.
KWASI, thanks for having me. And like I always say, you have one of the best studios across the country.
Thank you.
If not the very best.
In fact, we are the best.
It won't be surprising at all. And it's good to be back here.
So let me also introduce to you that we'll have on Zoom the executive director of IES, Nana Amwesi, join us in the course of the discussion. But let me come to you, Honorable. Okay, so we have Nana Amwesi there, live on Zoom. He has joined us actually in the discussions tonight, but we'll start from the studio and get to Nana Amwesi. And you heard the minister yesterday, so we'll start with issues on power and then eventually come to issues of energy. But you heard the minister yesterday, they have better managed the power situation in the country.
Thank you very much, and then good evening to your viewers. Let me also just add to what Duncan said, that you have a very good studio here. I only know the Good Morning Ghana one, but I didn't know that downstairs here you also have
a very big one here.
That's a very fantastic place.
Right. Thank you very much.
Now to your statement. And I believe you were quoting the minister.
The minister, yes, exactly.
For energy. Indeed, when you have a situation where a minister makes statements like this, sometimes the early stages of Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh in office, I tried as much as possible not to comment on things he says, because I knew he was new to the terrain. His background is not energy. He had not worked in that sector. I don't recall he being a member of the Mines and Energy Committee during his years in Parliament. And so it was going to take some time to be able to come to grips with what they call it, the issues in the energy sector.
Exactly.
But to have a well-prepared document that was read, it meant that somebody had to sit down and prepare it. And so everything that was said there was intentional. It was meant to be said. I don't for a moment agree with the thesis when you say that they are better managers of their claim.
No, he said.
That they are better managers. My brother, I always want to draw people's attention to a few things, and I'm just going to, about 2 minutes. Our power sector post-2007, that's Ekufo's time. You remember that in 2006, 2007, we had serious power crisis. And I know in your intro, you were even talking about the fact that when the power crisis came in Mohammed's time, they said it was financial. During those periods, one thing that was very clear, it was established, that our generation capacity had gone down. Our demand had outstripped our supply. You recall that was the period when even Lawrence Tete and his group went to Akosombo to pray. The reason was because Akosombo is the largest plant we have.
Right.
And because of the lower levels of water, we could not produce much, and therefore the deficit was high. Between 2006 2007, the then MPP government, under the leadership of President Kufuor, I admire President Kufuor for a lot of things, but I'm just talking on the energy sector.
Yes.
Go back and review all the budget statements from the Ministry of Finance under Kufuor. Not a single dollar was voted out to add 1 megawatt to our plants.
In 2007?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. You know the crisis. The crisis was 226 in 2007. In 2008, the crisis went down, and the crisis went down for two reasons. First, the rains became better, and therefore Akosombo went up, and they could generate more. Two, you had a consortium of miners who came and put up a particular plant known as the Mines Reserve Plant, which was an 18 megawatt plant that they put in in Tema. So these were the two things. So in the 2008 elections, and I just want to give people just this background, in the 2008 election at the Energy Institute at KNUST, it was clearly identified that there were three major things that were affecting the power subsector. One had to do with insufficient generation, two had to do with fuel security, and the last but not the least had to also do with financial challenge, because at the various utilities, they could not manage their finances well. So in 2009, as part of the NDC strategy, and that's why the NDC came as part of their policy in 2010, March 2010. If you go and look at that policy document, they indicated that they were going to increase power generation from 850 to 5,000. So that was how the 5,000 megawatt target was made.
But Bui Power has started by then. Bui Power Authority had been established. And this was under former President Kufuor.
Let me tell you what the Bui Power did.
Right.
The Bui Power, there was an agreement. It's just like, for example, today, as I speak to you,
let me give you a typical example. They had made preparations for it.
No, let me just come. That's why I say voted 1 megawatt storage. That's the point I'm making. For example, let's take the Palugu multi. Akufo-Addo went in 2020 November and cut the sword. As we speak today, not a one pickaxe has been put on the ground. So on the basis of that, will you say, assuming that Akufo-Addo had lost the elections, would you have said that Akufo-Addo brought that thing? Are you getting the point? Yeah, you get the point. Yes, so it's the same thing. But of course, we still get it. But I'm just talking about bringing it on stream. That between that time and this, and there was no 1 megawatt that was brought on stream. That means we didn't add anything. You understand the point?
I understand the point of me.
But the point I'm just trying to make is that, so that's how the NDC decided to do that rapid improvement to increase the power generation to the 5,000 that we talk about now. Indeed, I just read on Asasi Radio that Kweku Awotwe, who was then the CEO under the NDC of VRA, and became the board chairman under the MPP, indicated that if you look at the challenge under Mahama, it was generational. But the MPP consistently said it was financial. In fact, I'm just talking to you about the fact that he said, he's quoted on my job online, that he said it was a generational issue. So we solved that. Then there was an issue of finance, my brother. We realized that over a period of time, we had a legacy debt. Duncan will tell you about legacy debt in the petroleum, particularly the downstream sector. He will tell you about that. And what is this legacy debt? People always have it at the back of their mind that legacy debt is Mohammed's debt. Legacy debt is over a period of time, over the government.
No, that one we know.
Yes.
I mean, for the purposes of politics, you have been able to, you and your political opponents have been able to politicize the situation.
Yeah, but it is important
to make it look as if it belongs to you.
It's important because this has to do with, I've seen your thing, business at the speed of thought.
Yes.
I've seen your program. People must begin to know where this debt was. So this debt was an accumulation of debt over the period of time. Most of them were other subsidies that were not paid, losses and what have you. We decided to ring-fence it. Government of Ghana, through the good people of Ghana, said that, look, let's devote some amount of money on our petroleum price build-up, known as the energy sector levies. So, yes, that was how the act came. And it was for 5 years. And these 5 years, we were supposed to use this, these accruals, to retire the debt of the $2.4 billion that we had in the energy sector. And in terms of net arrears. In terms of net arrears. That's what we were supposed to use it for. That was what the MPP said that it was obnoxious, Mahama was not kind. All the very unprintable words were used. The MPP comes into government and they extend the tenure from 5 years, which was supposed to be used in retiring that, to 10 years, and that's how they raised the energy bond. Now, my brother, I'm just trying to say, when they say they are managers, Just in the last 4 years, the NPP government has raised 12 billion Ghana cedis of ESLA money. So you tell me, if they say they are better managers of, and you know one thing about the law of ESLA is that every year they bring the accounts to Parliament. So you can't hide it. And we're saying that for the past 4 years, we have had a situation where they've raised about 4 billion. But look at the effect of it. ECG, as at 2016, when they were posting a profit of over 500 million, in the last 4 years, they have had an accumulated losses of 4 billion.
We'll come to the problem.
So I'm just saying, giving you generally. So when you see somebody after you were bequeathed with an instrument that was going to raise not only the instrument, not the Energy Sector Levy Act that was going to give you the money, but with an additional 230 million Ghana cedis in the account of ESLA, and then you yourself, based on the payments, you have been able to receive about 12 billion, and we still now have a net arrears of about 2.7 billion as debt, and you tell me that you are a better manager of the power sector. That's just all that I wanted to tell you.
I'll come back to you, and of course, the savings they have made in the IPPs and all. But
okay, yeah, we'll go there.
Duncan, you are in the sector. You have been in the sector for quite a long time. I've been hosting you on all of these issues. Minister says they are better managing the situation we have on the ground, and so we should not keep quiet, but support them in solving the problem. And that's, as we speak, they are solving it.
AFRIYIE, I wish I was not drawn into this. I wish. But once a Ghanaian, and also someone who, if I go home, if there's light,
you'll be happy. If there's
at least I'll be able to have fun to sleep. If I go, there's no light. I think what most Ghanaians are asking for at this point is that whatever the challenges are, fix it. And so my senior brother and friend, Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, I would say that he has a bigger shoe to wear. What has happened in the past, how it was managed or it has been managed, Ghanaians saw it. We are all aware the difficulties the former government had with power. Like he has mentioned, we saw steps concrete taking to resolve those challenges.
We are not seeing concrete steps now?
AFRIYIE.
We are not seeing practical steps because we have seen some of your colleagues say that instead of coming to do press conferences to tell us what is happening, tackle the problem. ECG is not being able to take the monies that are owed them from the public. People are mounting illegal setups and all that. ECG is not being able to recoup the monies. And so the minister shouldn't be doing press conferences.
I had a conversation around these last, all in there. I do not have a problem with those bosses, not one bit. My problem will go back to the finance minister, and I would explain. So you have ESLA collections, right? And mind you, ESLA does not apply only to petroleum. Even on the power that you buy, you are paying for. There are two different things.
Maintenance works that have to go on. They have mentioned all the technical issues.
If I could finish, there are two different things.
Right.
If you say it's a financing problem, right?
Then when you land on the two, I'll go on Zoom to pick.
If you say it's a financing problem, indirectly you are saying that we need money to do something and the money is not there. That is one thing. I am saying that the finance minister, right, has probably not handled the energy sector to the best of, what we all expected. Because ESLA is giving you inflows. Mind you, Ghanaians are not taking power for free. Okay? With the exception of a few who will probably be doing illegal tappings here and there. Others are paying. And so once they are paying, and you are getting additional inflows from petroleum, right? One would have expected that whatever debts that exist within the sector, one, ring fence it. Two, ensure that you block the leakages, right? Points of losses, right? Yet the kind of debt in the power sector gets frightening by the day. Simply to say we are not managing the finances in the power sector properly. And that is why the challenges we are seeing, fixes that we needed to have fixed last year, we are fixing them this year.
The long and short of it is that he's performing, or the government is performing. What we are seeing currently is as a result of maintenance works and not a financial problem as some people have posited. You are the executive director of IES, and you have been following this for quite a while now. In fact, we have spoken to you quite a number of times. Let me pick your view on this before we go back into the savings the minister spoke about.
And he did mention them. So this time around, he never spoke about excess capacity, because the excess capacity is in the books. In reality, there is nothing like excess capacity. However, we're talking about good managers of the industry. I would judge by the results,
right? And
I won't refer to any past or to come governments. I think Mr. Bauer is also there. They've done a good introduction, and they were right on point that if you compare our situation to other jurisdictions where both transmission and distribution losses is not in excess of 7%, and even in sub-Saharan Africa, somewhere around 18% average. But in Ghana, you add the transfers you need, it's liquidity to address the challenges and also to ensure that you introduce innovation into your system to deal with emerging challenges.
Right.
What GRICO is doing today is financed by other donor agencies and partners. It's not financed by us. But if we were to use our own money, trust me, there will not be a PESWA to deal with these problems. And so you're creating a hole. And when you don't get the money, you are able to fix the smaller problems. We have something we call preventive maintenance. That is to say that you have a car. Once in a while, you change your battery or you change your filter, the air filter, the oil filter. You ensure that you put in the right grade of fuel so as to guarantee continuous mobility of the vehicle. But if you don't undertake this little mention Malam and Co and KWASI, but right here in Tama, we have power outages. Go to the central region, there are power outages. And so
in Kumasi, yes, there is.
Today, of course, what we are saying today is that the challenges we are going through has a lot to do with finance and not just technical issues. So we don't lump it that way.
Right. So Nana, hold on there. Let me come back to the studio and let me get to Honorable.
Immediately she started turn off. Hello. I don't want to. Hey, Pioneer Ringa.
Comedy.
For the house. So how much you do?
Drama.
Attention in our language.
How can she collapse today? If she had collapsed yesterday, I would have had money. Your mother now collapsed today without asking.
You're welcome back from the break. So we are discussing issues in the power and energy sector. We have touched on whether the current problem, is an issue of technical or financial. Maintenance works are going on and developments are coming on as well. We hear of KWASI, we hear of KWASI, and all the details of the programs that are coming up. But Honorable, you're on a point. I would allow you to...
of about 600 million Ghana cedis. On the strength of that, the French government, even the money is not a loan, it's a grant. But it was premised on a particular condition, that the financials of GRICO needed to be good. Now, when they look at their financial, their current ratios, and not current ratio is just a measurement of how liquid your company is. It was bad. On the basis of that, the French agency,
development agency,
procurement scandal that we went to in transiting PDS to what do you call it? ECG to PDS.
PDS, and then from
it
PDS
delayed
back
the
to
project,
ECG, yes.
even though that portion we just lost the $190 million, but that portion was given to us, but it delayed it. Because the government, the American government, first had to take a second look at as to how they were going to even engage us on the basis of the Compact 2 arrangement. So that was it. So when you say it is not financial, then I have